Welcome along to EXFL Tier 2 Season 11. We're here for round 12 out of 20. It's the Belgian Grand Prix. We're here at Spa-Francorchamps for the 18-minute qualifying session ahead of the 50% 22-lap race. We've got 18 drivers in at the moment. We're still awaiting for 2 more to join, so we have a full grid for one of the best races of the season. As we see the first few cars heading out onto the track now. The 2 drivers we're waiting on are Dello in the Ferrari and Christian in the McLaren. One's just updating their game. The other, I think, is just running a bit late. But yeah, it's good to see still. Anyway, heading out onto the track, the first car, who's already nearly finished the first sector, is Kobe. Obviously, very impressive. 7 or 8 races he's been doing now since he joined in Bahrain earlier this season. This will be his last Grand Prix for the next few weeks. I think he'll be missing the next 2. So he knows today he has to win, as he is one of the 5 who we are deeming to be in the fight for the World Championship. Eggy leads by 6 points ahead of Samurai on 143 to his 137. 8 points back is Adam, last week's race winner, who did get to keep his win ahead of Finn. Both of them got an unfair warning, so both of them could have got a 3 set removed. They both tried to, they both failed with trying to get the race director. So both just agreed to keep it how it was, because nothing would change anyway. So yeah, Adam won his 5th Grand Prix in tremendous style last week out in Hungary. So he's 3rd now in the standings on 129, 9 points ahead of the man you see on our screen, Kobe on 120, who's 3 points ahead of Navek, or Evan, who's on 117. 26 points cover the top 5, and any one of those 5 could be crossing the line in Brazil in 8 weeks' time as the world champion. But we're here at Spa as Kobe begins his lap. So yeah, for his sake, he would hope to win today if he's going to miss the next 2 races, because that's really going to affect things. So we'll see him back in, I think, Singapore at the earliest. Williams do take back the lead in the Constructors' Championship after last week on 257 points. They are 23 points ahead of Mercedes after scoring 3rd and 4th to Mercedes 2 points, with Arab Chubster getting P9 and Eggy obviously not racing last week. His reserve replacement was one of the debutants of Matt, or M. Leons as he is in P9, reserving in the Sauber today. So yeah, Kobe making his way through the middle sector now, through what was No Name Corner. I think it's the Jackie X corner now. And heading into P1 then. Bit of a lift maybe on the first run, taking it cautiously. And then as he progresses further through quali, he will find the limit. To get 3 runs in 18 minutes around here, you can't be wasting too much time. It's not like a few recent tracks we've had, like Austria and Hungary, where you can easily get 3, maybe even 4 runs in. Longest track of the calendar, second to Baku. As Kobe makes his way through Blanchimont now then, and he'll be the first one to set his banker. Every single driver is out on track at the moment, apart from, I think, a Red Bull might be heading into the pit lane. No, every single driver is out on track now. As Kobe sets the pace then, a 42.4, and round the final corner, oh, that's Evan on the Inters, with a Sauber right there. The other Aston Martin of Ocean Blade, Sam, crosses the line to start his lap. He has been promoted fully to the Aston Martin after his great performance last time out in Hungary, finishing P7. As a Square Giraffe is the debutant for today, Scott. He did join last week, couldn't do Hungary, so he'll be making his debut today, reserving in the Ferrari for Yonder, who's not here today. So hopefully he goes well. He's currently P3 at the moment. Finn, who got pole on debut last week, goes P2 at the moment, 3.5 tenths off Kobe. These 2 were fighting for pole. Birdie Saints, Finn's new teammate, goes P3 at the moment. Remember that excellent performance he did in Britain, getting 4th in the end after all the highs and lows of his race. So it's good to see Alpine back at the front now. Chubster goes P4 in the Mercedes. Abra has been demoted to a reserve, so he's reserving in the RB. So that's Eggy, championship leader, going P4 at the moment to make it 2 Mercedes in the top 5. We've got Samurai, second in the championship, going P9 at the moment, doing what he usually does, I think, of one lap that's about 1.5 seconds off, and then his second run will be a bit better. So at the moment, that's a good lap from Kobe to have a 3.5 tenth gap. We've got Yannick in his third race, was 6th in Spain, was 8th last week in Hungary. So he's getting some solid good points on the board for his new team with RB. And yeah, Evan, obviously on the Inters, will be setting a representative time later on in the session. Same with Bluey, who's returned after what was a short sabbatical and hiatus. He's back in Tier 2, and he is reserving, and he's in the Red Bull. So we'll see what he can do. And I believe that was Grush, who went, now P8 in the Red Bull. 81 points for him, 81 points for Red Bull. He scored every single point for the Austrian team so far this season. We'll see if that continues. And well, Grush has, he's one of 2 drivers, him and Samurai, to score points in every single race this season. They're the only 2 to do that. As while that was happening, Will goes P4. Now, he was around about the top 10. He made a good start in Hungary before he got into an incident with Warren that dropped him to the back. Then he made a brilliant recovery up to 6th at one point, and then he had another incident which unfortunately dropped him, and then he was lapped, and he was the one messing around with Finn in the last few laps. But it's good to see him up in 4th, reserving for the Sauber team. And in the other Sauber is Matt, also reserving, because Finn and Ocean Blade did a good enough job finishing 2nd and 7th last week to get themselves a full-time seat. So we'll wonder and see if a Sauber seat might open for Will and or Matt. Speaking of Warren, he's P13 at the moment on the hard compound tyres, like he usually does at the start of a qualifying session. Proves he always picks the harder allocation, which is fair enough. We've got Frosty Life in P14, back in the McLaren after missing Hungary, a track that may have suited him, to be fair. But around Spa, he's no stranger to these corners, and we'll see what he can do as he's going to go for another run soon. And yeah, Matt, 16.8 off, but now he's on the softs. He's found a lot of time in the first sector, and this will be a proper run. And the only person who hasn't really set an actual time at the moment is Adam, on his outlap, about to begin what will be either his first run of 2 or 3, but he's heading into the bus stop soon, and we'll see what time he has got. Never been on pole position in EXFL Tier 2. He has 5 wins to his name. He holds the record now. Most wins without a pole. Is this the day where Adam finally gets his first pole position? He's going to need to do quite the performance, because Kobe looks like he's got it set at the moment, but we'll see what Adam can do. 7, is it 7? 5? Something like that. He's got a lot of front rows, basically, a lot of P2s in qualifying, and is this the day where he can finally stop it? Even though it's the longest race of the season, we have seen incredibly close margins here at Spa in the past. Last season, I think pole was 2 thousandths separated the top 2. It was around about that part of the season where it was like 2 thousandths, 7 thousandths, all of that. Purple set to 1 apparently for Adam. And it is indeed by 9 thousandths he's up on Kobe, who I think is about to go again. We're already halfway done with this session. As 10 seconds down. Yeah, now Matt went P13 in the end there. So we'll see what Adam can do. Through Puon now. Making his way through the technical parts of the racetrack. Sector 1 and 3, you need the low downforce. Sector 2, you need the high downforce. So it's all a bit of a balance. And I'm sure a lot of drivers will optimise lower downforce. But we'll see what Adam can do. 14.9. It's not purple. Apparently coming up on the mini-map. Wow. So he's nearly 4 tenths down on Kobe. But that could still put him on the front row or third, as we're going to get used to seeing Finn a lot more at the top in Tier 2. Bit wide through the bus stop for Adam. But he'll come around the final corner, not taking the usual line. He'll cross the line. It's a 42.8, and he does go P3. About half a tenth or 600ths off Finn, but still a good lap nonetheless. Is Kobe going even quicker? Yes, he is. He's found a 10th nearly in the first sector. And he's really at one with this track. He knows, like I said, he needs to win today, because he's not going to be here for the next 2 weeks. And we know that Kobe can definitely get the job done in quali, and he can definitely get the job done come race day. 4 poles to Kobe this season, 4 poles to Evan this season, and they're first and last at the moment. As Evan takes a huge chunk of grass there, as Kobe finishes the middle sector. Lost a bit of time, but he's still up as he makes his way through the final sector. Quickly invite Christian then. I'll invite Dello in a sec. So, through the bus stop chicane then for Kobe. Little hesitant on the first input there. As across the line, I think that was the Ferrari crossing the line. Kobe crosses the line. He goes even quicker. He found a chunk of time in the last sector. And that's a 42.1 for Kobe. An absolute brilliant time that's going to take quite a lot to beat. So yeah, Evan has 4 poles, Kobe has 4 poles, Samurai has 1, Eggy has 1, and Finn has 1 this season. So Kobe looking for his 5th. And let's see who can challenge. Finn down slightly in the first, but he's up by a lot in the middle. Bit of a wiggle though, that's going to affect his speed throughout the whole of this straight on Blanchimont. But he's up by 3/10, which can halve the gap between him and Kobe at the moment. Adam's in the pit lane, and Birdie's in 4th. He was up by 2/10, but he's got wing damage. And he's going slow. So we'll look back to his teammate Finn into the bus stop chicane. But he turns in way too early there. And he goes into the pit lane. So it looks like that was not going to be the run he wanted to complete. What about Will? He's up by a little bit of time. Crosses the line. And he stays 5th for now. As he was down by 4.5 tenths in the end. What about the 2 Mercedes? Eggy's up by 1/10 and a bit in the first sector. Right. Let me quickly invite Dello. Don't know why it shows no one online today, but the invites still work, so that's the good thing. That's Will going across the grass. Eggy still up by 1/10 in the middle sector, which would get him ahead of Will, potentially ahead of Birdie. And Eggy will cross the line, and where will he go? It's P2! He found a lot of time in the last sector, just like Kobe, and goes onto the front row, until Samurai replaces him and makes it a Williams front row lockout, but that is still a massive gap to Kobe. We know Finn's got some time, and we surely know Adam will find some too. There we go, Christian's in the main menu now, so he should be joining. There we go. Right. Evans still in the pit lane. Bluey 3.7 seconds down. Currently on a run. Frosty Life heading around the final couple corners. Invalidated, but he was up by a second. Warren now on the soft compound tyres. Apparently that's a purple middle. I doubt that. But he's 1.7 seconds up. Matt on an outlap, and then 13th all the way up to 6th in the pit lane. Adam and Finn on their outlaps. Eggy will obviously head back into the pit lane. And yeah, that's a good lap from Samurai, considering he's 6 points behind Eggy, the championship leader. He knows he needs to close that in. And pit lane, Ocean Blade has been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. Oh dear. As across the line, that was the Haas and Sauber. But that is disaster for Aston Martin, who are now on the 9th row. And Sam, unfortunately, may have just driven too slowly in the pit lane, because now he's going to start right at the back, unfortunately. Oh, that is big disappointment for him. I'm sure he didn't mean it. And we see Square Giraffe in the top 10 at the moment on debut. So that's good. And he'll be going again to try and help his chances even more. That's Warren cutting across the gravel. There's Christian now in his car. So we're still waiting for Dello to make it a full lobby. And Kobe's on his outlap, Samurai and Eggy in the pit lane. We have 3 minutes left then, and Adam is on his way for what could be potentially his last run in qualifying. So, Has he got it in him? He's down by half a tenth in the first sector. Is anyone going to challenge Kobe's time? Kobe could probably not even do a last run and probably still hang on. Finn now starts his final lap with 2 minutes 37 left on the clock. Warren, I don't know if he's heading back into the pit lane, if he's ran out of fuel, if he's going to even have enough time. Kobe behind him just beginning his lap. Finn heading into a Rouge. Up through Radion. Blasting his battery. Adam trying his hardest. He knows if he can find a little bit of time, he can probably put it back on the front row. But he's gone very wide there, and that's invalidated for Adam. And unless he can save his battery and has enough fuel, he can maybe go again. What about Finn? He's up slightly in the first sector, but gets kicked up by a lot of gravel there. As the McLaren gets out of his way. And that's going to hurt his chances. And he gets caught on the curb there as well. Very scruffy through the middle sector for the Alpine. The Alpine who was on pole position this time last week. As Kobe makes his way up through Radion. And he's going to see if he can find any more time on that already monstrous 42.1. Look like he backed off there. Warren's done for this session. P9 at best. And Kobe's down by nearly a tenth in the first sector. Samurai still on his outlap. Same with Eggy. Finn down by 6/10 like we saw. He's just lost too much time. I think Adam might be going again then. Birdie, who made his debut here, I believe, 1 season ago. Finished 11th on that day. Qualified 9th. It's clearly shown some good improvements 1 season later. Will's still in 7th. Chubster's going to do his lap soon. Square Draft's up by half a second. So we could be seeing him potentially, maybe even into the top 5 on debut. He said he had no idea where his pace would be like in the league, as this is his debut today. Finn's given up. That's P4 at best for him. And we'll see what Square Giraffe can do. We had 4 debutants last week, but now the spotlight is on Square Giraffe in the Ferrari. Crosses the line, and he goes P4. Great lap in the end from the Ferrari. Square Giraffe now puts last week's pole sitter down to 5th. Adam up by a 10th with a 0.3 in the first sector. Kobe, he's up by a whole lot of time in the middle sector. And is Kobe about to absolutely destroy his own record at the moment? A bit slidey through the last chicane, but he'll cross the line. It's a 1:41.8 to go even quicker. And I'm pretty sure he lost a lot of time doing so. But that is a monstrous lap time from Kobe, who can challenge as the rest now begin their lap. 7 seconds on the clock. It looks like Eggy will be the last one to cross the line. We have the Red Bull of Grush crossing the line to go P7 in the end there. So Eggy will be the last one to cross the line. That is a monstrous time from Kobe and a big gap to gain. Samurai down by 600ths. Adam will cross the line. He's up by a few tenths. Bit of a slide out of the last chicane. He goes back up to P3, but he can't deny Williams a front row lockout. And what about Eggy then through the first sector? He's about a 0.4. He's done a 0.5. He's up slightly. And who else? Birdie. He's done a 0.4. He's up by a tenth and a bit. Will's P9 at best. Chubster still hanging on to the top 10. Down by 2 thousandths in the first. He's got a McLaren in front of him, who are right at the back of Frosty and Christian. And Christian round the final corner then. We'll see what he can do. This is going to be his only run in qualifying. And it will be a 1 minute 43.5 to put himself P13. We see the RBs behind. That's Abra, who's up by half a second. Crosses the line, goes P12. Yannick, P15 only. As looks like Matt will be P13. We look back to the front drivers. Eggy, apparently purple in the middle sectors, looking good. And with how close it is between second down to about 6th. As crossing the line, Chubster goes 3rd in the end, 1,000th ahead of Adam. Great lap from Chubster, and it's It's Williams versus Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship. Birdie goes P2 at the end there as Eggy rounds the final corner. He's up by a lot of time. Is this the front row? Yes, it is for Eggy. Kobe, it was never in doubt. He's on pole position. Eggy, the championship leader, is on the front row. That is P3 for Birdie Saints at Belgium. A brilliant lap time to get in between both Williams and both Mercedes fighting for the Constructors. And he just slots in 3rd. Great stuff. Adam will be down in 6th. Square Giraffe on debut. P7. Finn, P8. Grush managed to get into the top 10. And Will just holds off in the top 10 to qualify P10, Warren 11th, Abrar 12th, Matt 13th, then the two McLarens, then Yannick down in 16th, Bluey 17th, and what about Evan? He's, for the second week in a row, going to be right at the back. I think he qualified 18th or 19th last week too, but he did make a brilliant comeback up to third at one point before his race then became a bit undone. But yeah, that's going to be both Aston Martins right at the back. And unfortunately, I don't think Dello is going to be able to join. It says he keeps communicating with online services. So for the second week in a row, we might have 19. Apparently Ocean Blade was staying out the way of people, and that's what got him disqualified. So, Kobe takes his 5th pole of the season. A brilliant lap from him. The only one who's got into the 141s. 5.58. 5.88. So it's all in the middle sector, really. You must have a lot more confidence through there. Yeah, Birdie, P3 though as well. In the Alpine. We'll see what he can do. Evan being a little defeatist at the moment, but hopefully gets his confidence back in the race, which is, at the moment, dry. A bit sunnier than qualifying. But yeah, now we see what people choose. It should be a simple one-stop, medium-hard or hard-medium. And, well, I'm sure the odd VSC or safety car might appear here and there. But yeah, we have both Williams, both Mercedes in the top 5. Then we have both Alpines in the top 8. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Remember, Eggy, 6 points ahead of Samurai, who's 8 points ahead of Adam, who's 9 points ahead of Kobe, who's 3 points ahead of Evan, who's all the way at the back. P6 in the championship is Chubster, to be fair. He's not completely out of it, but he's about the gap between 1st and 5th. That's the gap he is behind 5th. Here we go then. Formation lap begins. One of the only tracks where pole position puts you on the inside line heading into turn 1. So it is a pretty good pole to have. And it's a pretty short run down to turn 1 in the grand scheme of tracks. So Kobe, definitely looking strong here. And let's have a look at tyres. Okay, interesting. So we got Birdie on the hards. Both Alpines on the hards, actually. We got Matt also on the hards and Evan going long into this race. Oh. Okay, well, he's going to be stuck on the grid for a while. And the only one on softs is Ocean Blade. So Aston trying something different to the majority of the field who start on mediums. Fuel loads, setup tweaks. We won't know until the end of the race, really, if that's going to do much. Like we see, what should be a one-stop. Medium to hard, and those who are starting on the hards will go to mediums. They're going to hope no safety cars ruin their chances. I'll put the chat man back on, why not? But yeah, I'm sure Kobe will be setting his eyes on lap 22, crossing the line to win. Because he'll miss the Dutch Grand Prix and the Azerbaijan Grand Prix coming up. It's a good qualifying for Meggy, who's going to try and maintain his championship lead. As Kobe is... like 23 points behind Eggy? Yeah. So it's to finish like this, Kobe would be 16 points behind Eggy. And then it would just determine how many points Eggy scores in the next 2 races. And then in the last 6 or so races, if Kobe can close that down. But Eggy's got tremendous consistency. He's brilliant on tyre wear. And he's being a formidable foe to try and overcome. led the World Championship after just before the halfway mark in Silverstone when he won. And the gap between the top two, that was never higher than 7 points, went to 18. So he was able to miss last week and still come to Spa with the championship lead, just ahead of Samurai, who's going to be right behind him when those lights go out. And we're going to see any sort of action into turn one on the straight down to a Rouge, up Radion into Les Combes. It's one of the best starts of the season. And we're all going to gear up for it as we're waiting for the Haas, who, is that Warren? Who's way behind to get on his grid slot soon. Blood is not Sonny Hayes. There we go. He'll head onto his grid box now, and we can get the Belgian Grand Prix underway. There we go then. 19 drivers on the grid. 22 laps ahead of us. And we all await the start of the Tier 2 Season 11 Belgian Grand Prix. 5 lights on. It's lights out. And away we go. Kobe versus Eggy off the line. And Kobe should hold the inside line to hold on to the lead. And Samurai going round the outside of Birdie for P3. And Chubster watching this unfold. The Ferrari of Square Giraffe makes his way up to 6th as he's got ahead of Adam, who's down to 7th. As we look down to a Rouge, Kobe leads from Eggy, Samurai, Chubster up to 4th now. As dropping down the order is Birdie Saints down to 5th. As we look further forward, and it looks like Kobe should just have Eggy covered. He's in his slipstream, and Kobe will lead into Les Combes to the inside. Eggy tries a little look, but stays where he is for now. Square Giraffe a bit wide. That allows Adam to fight with him, and going wide. That's the Alpine of Birdie Saints. A brilliant qualifying in P3. Now sees him last at Les Combes with wing damage. So unfortunate. It's Williams Mercedes out in front. Square Giraffe up to 5th then, due to Birdie Saints dropping all the way down the order. We look at Evan, who's still in 18th. Brilliant start for Motion Blade, using those softs to good effect, up 6 places, as that's Evan off already for some reason, as Kobe already has a 1 second gap ahead of Eggy, who's under pressure from Samurai, and then Chubster, Square Giraffe, Adam, Finn, Warren up quite a few places as well into P8. So good stuff for both Hasses to be in the points. Will still in 9th, Christian up to 10th. What a start from him. As we'll see most places gained. 4 places. Yannick's up 5 places as well. Good stuff for him. And yeah, Birdie and Evan, unfortunately, way down the field. As Kobe got exactly what he needed at the start. And will lead the Belgian Grand Prix by around 1.3 seconds. As that's Will and Warren fighting away. Warren, who's never one to leave too much space, doesn't do it again with Will. Well, it's deja vu of last week, when Will was in the McLaren on the opening lap, and Will squeezing Warren to let him know, leave me some space. And Warren does leave him space, and Will go around the outside and get the move just about done. But he's lost DRS to Finn, and that's going to put him under pressure heading into Les Combes, as Christian right behind these guys is trying to overtake, but he's lost a bit of momentum through Radion. And now Warren with the DRS will be gaining in the slipstream, and that is a pass for P2. Samurai makes it a Williams 1-2 at the Belgian Grand Prix. And now it's nearly 3 wide as to the inside. Will forces Warren off, and he goes off himself. Warren cuts the corner massively, gets a 10-second penalty. Christian watches this all unfold still. And Will getting his elbows out more, but Warren completely bailed out there. We have a yellow. And is that Matt? Probably. As I believe Warren may have got an illegal overtake there on Will. So he's given the place back. No way Warren had to just not let off the brakes there and get a 10-second pen. That was really unnecessary. Evan, race hasn't really even began and he's given up. So this 5-way championship may go down to 4 now. The ever defeatist of the youth, I guess. As Samurai's actually putting the pace on his teammate there. And the gap's what it was at the end of lap 1 to Eggy. So it looks like Eggy might just be looking after his tyres a bit more than the 2 Williams. Chubster still sticking with these guys. And Square Giraffe is looking very feisty on the back of Chubster on his debut. Currently in P5. It's looking great so far. And Adam, after all that, the only driver besides Evan, and Kobe, to stay where he is. But we know when Adam's in this kind of position, in the next few laps at the start of a race, he does usually make up ground. And we'll see what he can do. But when they're all in a bit of a train, it's a bit unknown. As Evan lets Birdie go, he pitted onto the soft compound tyres. And it's a 1.7 gap between the two Williams and then the two Mercedes. They know they have to gain on Williams today, so it might be all one in the pit stops, as we see from the helicopter cam. Chubster under pressure from Square Giraffe, who's gaining in the slipstream, but he's not quite close enough. Chubster burns nearly all of his battery to hold on to P4 there. Great POV of second down to 6 there. Finn has lost DRS to these guys. To be fair, he is on the hards. That's Evan out of the race in the pit lane, and that's a spin for Warren. So second lap in a row at Les Combes. He's not exactly had the best run through. And that's Matt closing up to him soon. I'm going to quickly change my batteries. They're about to die. Christian with a 3-second time penalty then, as Will is leading quite the train from him down to Frosty Life in 15th. And Warren will have to try and close back up to these guys. I don't know what actually happened to Matt. It was just after Les Combes that he was causing yellows. But at the moment, Kobe 1.6 seconds ahead of Samurai, who actually does look to be a bit quicker than Kobe at the moment. This is brilliant pace that we haven't seen for a while from Samurai. As Yannick fighting away with Christian there, wheel to wheel through Blanchimon, and they make slight contact with their wheels, and that allows Christian to stay ahead for now. And Yannick going wide to make sure he doesn't run into the back of Christian, rejoins in the path of Grush, who now gets up into the points, as Yannick looks like he just missed his braking zone there. And Finn has found himself back with the fight at the top. And if we quickly look to tyres, we should keep an eye on Finn, considering he's the only one on the hards in the top 15 alone. So watch out for this, and watch out for this three-way fight for fourth, as there is Adam, there is Square Giraffe, and there is Chubster, but they all don't have barely any battery. And they stay how they are for now. 14, 11, 16. Yeah, nothing they can do with that low amounts of battery. Eggy's got a decent amount. Samurai's got an alright amount. Same as Kobe, practically. And I believe Warren just pitted. Yeah, he did. So, Finn just hanging on to DRS ahead of these guys. But I'm sure, look at this, they're already trying to save a lot of battery. And Chubster may even lose DRS to his teammate here, as Eggy wants to get dragged along by Samurai. 6 points between these two will go down to 3 with 8 races to go. Samurai and Eggy, who are probably the two most consistent drivers of the field. And look at that, it's going down to 1.1 now. This is brilliant stuff from Samurai. I'm not sure if Kobe's just trying to save his tyres a little bit, or if Samurai's got good pace. Fastest laps would show... Look at that, Eggy's is a second. Wow. So the Williams really early on showing the pace. Oh, Samurai's just lost a heap of time on the straight there, as it looks like he was saving while Kobe was blasting, and that just shows the difference. This is going to be very interesting. We're on lap 5 of the Belgian Grand Prix. Wouldn't expect anyone in yet, as Will and Christian are still fighting for P8 and P9, as that's Abrot and Ocean Blade swapping, because Ocean Blade into the pit lane. Those softs really not lasting too long. That means Birdie will be in soon. So Ocean swaps for his tyres. Do we see any sorts of swaps? As Chubster still has DRS, just about. Don't know if Eggy's helping that, or Chubster's just about holding on. And look at that, they're all, well, Square Giraffe and Chubster are blasting their battery. As for Adam, he's saving a little bit of his now. And Finn has still caught onto the back of these guys. It's a very interesting race we have on our hands here. Williams, Mercedes, Mercedes. And who is going to blink first? Who's going to pull the trigger and pit before anyone else? And could that be the thing that decides the race victory or not? Kobe now only a second ahead of Samurai, who's got 62%. Kobe's got 40, and he's blasting. And could we see potentially a revamped Samurai after the second half of the season began? He outqualified Kobe last week in Hungary at his home race and finished 4th. He played the team game and let Kobe go, but this is a really strong showing from Samurai for the second half of the season. After losing the championship lead, leading most of the season, he wants it back, and he knows a win today would do just that if Eggy stays in 3rd. And you can just see Kobe pulls so much on Samurai, because Samurai's not blasting and Kobe is. And Kobe just hasn't been... Samurai hasn't been under pressure from Eggy just yet, who's saving his battery as well. That's a bit deep for Chubster. And Giraffe spies an opening, but can't quite go through. As that's Finn and Adam side by side. Looks like the hard compound tyres might start to be better than the mediums now. Finn round the outside of Adam, the top two last week, fighting for 6th this week. Adam to the inside has the momentum and pretty much has the same battery as Finn, but blasting it all now. As that's Chubster right behind. That's Giraffe right behind Chubster, who still has DRS. 2.2 seconds now. Look at that. Kobe bastard all of his battery to get that gap. And Giraffe's to the inside of Chubster. Chubster turns in because he's not far enough alongside and still hangs on. Adam right behind the Ferrari there. Gives him a little touch. As that's Matt with a penalty and Finn behind for now. So Kobe has to save his battery once again. I don't know why Samurai is not using his. But we have known in the past Samurai to be a bit harsher on his tyres. So if he's just tyre saving for now, that's fair. Or unless he's playing the team game or something. Either way, it's a win for both championships for Williams at the moment, with where they are in terms of gaining and pulling away. Speaking of pulling away, Will is got the gap a bit higher to Christian, and Grush is not a million miles off them, but they're 1 second clear. Yannick, who made a good start, but he's currently just in 11th at the moment. His teammate for this race, Abrat, a bit on his own now, 2 seconds behind, 3.6 to Frosty. I really don't know what's happened to Frosty's pace. At the end of last season, he was looking really strong heading into this. And then, unfortunately, after the first few races, he started to just drop a bit further down the order. So I really hope he does what he did last season and towards the end does the same. We see Finn ahead of Adam now. Now Adam back ahead of Finn. They're wheel to wheel once again. As Adam, once again, back in front. Finn knows his tyres are better now. Will he go for the inside? No, he'll stay behind for now. But he's letting Adam know he's there. That's a slight kiss of the wall for the Alpine. 44%. Same with Adam. Giraffe on 40. As we have a yellow. Is that the Sauber of Matt? Going off there, I think it is. He stays in 15th for now. It's very close between Giraffe and Chubster. They're both blasting their battery. And it looks like Chubster for another lap will just hold on. 2P4. Bit of a cut there. I don't know if he got a warning for that. Really desperate to hang on to 4th here. But he's still sticking within a second of his teammate, which is really saving him at the moment. And Finn trying this way and that to try and overtake Adam. He knows when these 6 start to pit on lap, I'd assume 10, or at least 9 at the earliest. If it's 8, that'll be a bit of a shock. We know Finn will be going long into this race, at least lap 12 to 14, and he will be on the quicker tyre at the end. And we'll see just how much that can gain him. But we're seeing now, he's on the quicker tyre now. And he just can't get past Adam. Who can't get past Giraffe. Who can't get past Chubster. And so on and so on. The slipstream, very little. And the dirty air not helping either. That's kind of putting praise on Samurai a little. Considering Eggy's not really fighting him. The gap's up to 3 seconds now. Kobe's blasting everything. It's not even a pace thing now. It's just Samurai is not blasting. So he's just letting his teammate get away at the moment. Is he going to pit before Kobe and then challenge him? We'll see. It's only lap 7. That's very deep for Chubster, who's now going to be under pressure from Giraffe, who slides out of the last corner. And now Finn is ahead of Adam, and that's a much better exit from the last 2 laps. So he's up in a P6 now ahead of the Haas, who's now tagged the wall himself, like Finn did on the last run. But Finn doesn't have that much battery compared to those around him. And Chubster, as they pass the detection point, should have DRS again. Square Giraffe right on the back of him, but not blasting. Now he is. And it looks like once again they're all going to stay in single file. But they're getting closer and closer. And Will has absolutely left Christian, who's been overtaken by Grush now. Will looks like he got a penalty as well. And will be interesting to see if any of the top 7 get a 3 second this race. Like if you're 2nd, 3rd or 4th and you get a 3, that could be really detrimental when seeing you right to the bottom of this pack. But Finn's made one move, and next up is Square Giraffe. And that is definitely going to be a warning for Finn in the dirty air of the Ferrari, who's doing a great job so far on debut. And is definitely going to be in the fight for whenever the next full-time seat becomes available. It's probably between him, Will, and Matt. That's a bit wide for Chubster. And we can see Square Giraffe blasting. Is he going to catch Chubster napping? Which way is he going to go? He's going to have to go right. But now Chubster knows he's there. Gives him a slight tap and they connect. And that allows Finn to get an opportunity on Giraffe. And he gets back ahead. He gets him ahead of him now into P5. As Chubster, as that there into the pit lane is Samurai. He does blink first on lap 8 to 9. So this will be interesting. Look how damaged his front left tyre looks. And Adam follows Samurai in as well. So, bit naughty there from Chubster. I think they just connected wheels. Could have been an aeroplane crash, but luckily they both kept it facing forward. But that drops Square Giraffe behind Finn, who's up to 4th now. After Samurai also pitted. Chubster still in the DRS of his teammate. And Finn has got no battery to comply. Adam and Samurai rejoin in a bit of free air. Adam just ahead of Frosty Life. And this might be, depending if Frosty really wants to fight him, a bit unfortunate for the Haas. And Adam blasting all his battery to make sure he doesn't fall under any pressure. And Frosty knows it. He's not close enough. So, how much does Samurai push here to try and undercut his teammate? Will Kobe respond? Because he had a 3-second gap, and that's close between Chubster and Finn. We can see the front left of Chubster's is getting worn out too. As is Eggy's. And it's the front right that looks a bit worse for Kobe's. As 3.2 seconds now between these guys. As that's Finn on the inside of Chubster. They're going wheel to wheel through the chicane. And Finn with the better tyres now as the inside line. Now has the place. Good move. Good battle between the two. As Adam now gets a time penalty on fresh rubber. And good move from Finn there on the Mercedes. Left him good trust. And Square Giraffe will wish he had that this time last lap. As he's once again trying the same move. But Chubster knows it's coming. And Chubster is gaining back on Finn, who doesn't have any battery. But he should just hang on, and Square Giraffe picks his braking zone. And Finn doesn't! As into the pit lane goes Eggy and Kobe. So Finn will take the lead of the race. Square Giraffe also follows him in, just avoids a speeding pen. Chubster has to stay out because his teammate pitted. So his tyres are going to be pretty torn. As he's hit the back of Finn there slightly. And luckily he'll have Finn to tow him around a bit. And are they going to go wheel to wheel down to a Rouge? It's going to be Chubster ahead of Finn. As Ocean Blade now gets a time penalty. And I think he did get the DRS because of the detections before a Rouge. So Chubster back in front of Finn now. Kobe only a second ahead of Samurai. Adams undercut Eggy and Square Giraffe, who's been left by this pack now. Very interesting stuff. And Samurai has more battery. So this is going to be very interesting. Ocean Blade, obviously he pitted quite early with the soft, so he'll be up high in the race, but he'll have to probably pit again, or his tyres are going to be very worn by the end. Grush under pressure from Yannick. We see the RB go around the outside of the Red Bull, and he's going to get the move done. Good move from Yannick, but Grush is coming back around the outside, and he turns in slightly, leaves, I think, just enough room for it to be considered hard racing, and the Red Bull is back in front. Not often you usually see a move like that. Fair enough. As we see Warren, who, like Ocean Blade, pitted a bit early, so he's back in the fight. Matt, then Christian. Christian's lost out quite a bit here with the traffic. Then Abra, Frosty Life, Birdie, who's still not pitted after lap 1, and then Bluey at the back. Chubster will definitely be pitting this lap. Finn will have to go a few more laps. He's going to be around about this battle here with Grush, Ocean Blade, and Will. And looks like Square Giraffe is unfortunately going to fall off the pack soon. Eggy's without a second as we look at the top two. Swap because Chubster's now in. And Finn now leads the race as we hit the halfway stage. And Chubster could fall even behind Square Giraffe here. As that's Adam right on the back of Samurai, who's lost a couple tenths. But he has so much more battery than Kobe. And we're going to see Chubster exit the pit lane. It's going to be close between him and Will. So there's Chubster into turn 1. Big lock up ahead from Square Giraffe. There's Chubster to the inside. There's Will. And it looks like Will might get the place on the Mercedes. He does. So Chubster's going to have to overtake the Sauber. And we see Adam without any battery really against Samurai, who has a lot. Kobe and Adam both have 8%. Samurai has plenty to play with. But at the moment, it's looking good for a Williams 1-2. Because Adam has that 3-second penalty and they've gone away from Eggy. And as for Samurai, he's going to have to hope these two pull a 3-second gap to Eggy. It's already halfway there. So, if Samurai does get P2 and Eggy does get P4, they'll be level on points. As Christian and Warren swap for P12. Warren obviously cut the corner and got a 10 sec. Now he's had a 3. Frosty fighting away with Birdie there and gets the place. 4P16. And Finn, I don't know, will drop. There's a few seconds gap between Chubster and Oceanblade. I'm sure he would probably like to fit into there. We can just see how much Kobe's eating into the gap with Finn, who's still going to have to stay out a few more laps, I would assume. And yeah, we haven't had a VSC. We haven't had a safety car. We've got 18 of the 19 cars left in this race. As that's Adam all over the back of Samurai there. And Samurai going on the defensive line, which is costing Adam and himself time to Kobe, who gets the gap up to 2 seconds now. So if Samurai's playing the team game here, he's doing it well. But for his own chances of winning, it's the opposite. So into turn 1 then. Oh my god, Adam, again, I heard that and I wasn't even on board with him. Has hit the inside wall and that's cost him time. I was going to say, Adam has a tremendous chance here to overtake Samurai. But now, probably not. Square Giraffe actually closing in on Eggy a bit here. Showing really good pace is the Ferrari. And looks like Chubster, if it's not this lap, will catch Will on the next lap. Having a much better race this week is Will in the Sauber. 8.8 has now gone to 7.3. Big lockup for Kobe. 2 seconds now, but remember, any 3-second time penalty, let's say for Kobe, and Samurai's looking in a good position. Samurai, who hasn't finished this high in a race since the opening race of the season when he won it. But right now, he's doing a great job at the moment. And he's closing in on Kobe, where he's been strong, to be fair, in the middle sector. So Kobe might just be looking after his tyres again, saving his battery. But look at that, Samurai's he's going to have 100% in a sec. There it is. And surely he would blast a little bit. Otherwise, he's just kind of pointlessly saving. There we go. 2 seconds, though, between Adam and Eggy. And it's not just about the championship. I'm sure Adam would also love a podium and to close more on Eggy as well, as he's third in the championship, along with Samurai. So they know what their opportunity is here today. So they got to work together, really, in that sense. This time, Samurai doesn't go defensive. But now he goes very wide, and that makes Adam slide, and that's all going to allow Eggy's gap to reduce. 2.1, 1.9 now. And Finn still leads the race. Any sort of VSC or safety car would be a real good time for him. But right now, everyone's doing a pretty good job. As they're going to fly past into a Rouge. Goes Samurai and Adam. But once again, Samurai just has the gap to Adam. Like he was with Eggy for all those laps. And stays behind for now. What is Finn going to do? Oh, Frosty Life's out in the pit lane. As that's Garouche and Oceanblade swapping. Oceanblade's tyres are definitely falling off the cliff. Well, they are going to be soon. They're definitely older than those around him. So, as Garouche back up into the points. And Yannick, he's looking good for points as well. After, I'm sure, was a disappointing qualifying for him. But he's up 5 places still. And yeah, unfortunately, Frosty Life becomes the second retirement in the pit lane. So that's fine. Unfortunate race for Matt. I still don't really know what happened to him with the yellows. But he's a bit far down the order. So he'll be fighting with Bluey. Square Giraffe now gets a 3-second time penalty. As look at that, he's caught up to Eggy. So that's going to help Eggy out. Maybe for a bit of swapping with these guys. And he knows he'll beat him. Because he has the 3-second time penalty. Otherwise, Eggy will be losing even more points. Right, this time Adam is closer to Samurai, who once again goes defensive. So Adam is going to go fully around the outside of Samurai, who leaves the space, and Adam will be ahead. Samurai has the better exit momentum, though, and stays in front of the Haas. They're going side by side, and now Samurai is back ahead, and Adam once again later on the brakes round the outside of the Williams. They lock tyres slightly. Now Adam has the momentum, and he's going to not get the DRS because Samurai will at the detection. Finn is in the pit lane, and he will drop down the order, and now Samurai with a lot of battery with the DRS will try and overtake Adam, but he's not exactly done a great run through Rouge and Radion. So Adam blasting all his battery, trying to hang on to Samurai. In the background, we see Square Giraffe get ahead of Eggy, and now Adam is freed and up into P2, and Samurai is down to third. Square Giraffe now ahead of Eggy. Finn came out in 6th or 7th, and he's now overtaken Will and is back up into P6. That is not too bad considering Chubster, who he was with 4 laps ago, is now a couple seconds behind him. Chubster has not been able to work those tyres to overtake Will, or he's made a mistake somewhere. And now, with 8 laps to go, we watch out for Finn to see if he can catch up to Eggy, get within 3 seconds of Square Giraffe, maybe even 3 of Adam, and we'll see what Finn can do. He is currently 10 seconds off the lead. But on medium compound tyres, expect the track to be lit alive by that Alpine. Speaking of the other Alpine, unfortunately, it's been a bit of a one to forget for Birdie. He did pit, so he can go to the end. Well, maybe. But it's going to be pointless at the moment for Birdie. He just lost it out of Les Combes. And, yeah. And look at that. Adam has got Samurai out of a second now. So that really was showing that Adam had the pace, but to be fair, he's blasted a lot of battery, and Samurai just hasn't been doing that this race. I haven't seen his battery go below 40 all race. But Samurai's smart with it because he's back within a second now, and he will get the DRS. Square Giraffe bringing Eggy back with them, and Finn is going to have to be in Deja Vu land again because by the time he catches these guys, they could all be in DRS once again. And I'm sure Adam, if he didn't have that 3-second time penalty, might close up to Kobe. But Samurai has closed up to Adam, and they go wheel to wheel. Adam onto the gravel, squeezes Samurai out there a bit to hold on to the place. So knowing Samurai, he might report that as Adam stays ahead then of the Williams. So it's getting serious as Christian and Yannick swap for P11. That's been coming for a few laps, and now Christian has finally got the move. So Adam stays in front of Samurai. Look, you could see he was on 0% battery, and he tried all he could there to hold his own against Samurai. And was Samurai not far enough alongside for Adam to turn in like that? Maybe. But yeah, we can see, like we predicted, Square Giraffe and Eggy have now caught. So at the moment, the podium will be Kobe winning the race, Samurai making it a 1-2, and Eggy will be third for his 25th podium, I believe. Unless Finn overtakes Eggy. And if so, Samurai will be second, Eggy will be fourth, and they will be level on points. Who would win? Who would be ahead? Because they both have 1 win each. I think Eggy's got a few more P2s than Samurai. But Samurai is getting a P2 today at the moment. So we'll have to... I'm pretty sure Eggy would still hang on to the lead. But they would be level. So at this stage, it doesn't really matter. But that is very deep into turn 1 for Eggy. Look, it doesn't really matter too much. As that's Ocean Blade into the pit lane for the final time this race. And he speeds, so he might give up. Wouldn't blame him. But he might make it to the end. Christian now on 12 seconds of pens. As we look further back then. Adam still in front of Samurai, who's gaining on Adam. And this time he is pretty much ahead at the apex. And they're going wheel to wheel. Adam leaves the space. Samurai nearly gets tagged by Adam, who still faces forward. And it's getting serious here. And now Samurai with the battery trying to look this way and that. Stays behind for now on Adam. Chubster now gets a 3-second time penalty. So he's going to have to make his move on Will count. And if they squabble, Grush could see a potential P7. And it's getting very close between Adam and Samurai here. And Square Giraffe watching this unfold. Eggy, who's now going to be under pressure from Finn. And as we look for battery, they've all got decent amounts. Kobe just running his own race out in front. He knows he needed to win today, and at the moment he's doing everything perfectly. So we resume. We'll have 6 laps to go. when they cross the line, as we have a yellow. Oh, that is Bluey and Matt at the back. They must have had a coming together. Oh no, Bluey. Oh no, oh my god, everything's happening. Finn has blasted ahead of Eggy, but he loses the rear. He gets a 3-second time penalty, and that might have just solidified Eggy's chances of the podium, because Finn now has a penalty too, and Eggy's fighting away. That might be another warning for Finn. We caught one at Pouon, we've caught one at Blanchimont, and yeah, now Finn has a 3-second time penalty, as Eggy will be 6th, but at the moment he'll go up to 3rd. But yeah, it might have actually just been Bluey losing it on his own there. Look how dirty his front wing is, that because Matt was nowhere near him. But anyway, Adam, Samurai, Square Giraffe, Finn and Eggy, 5-car fight for P2 on track. And here we go. Is Square Giraffe close enough to Samurai for a move? The sparks flying underneath the Williams. He's blasting, but he's not quite close enough. And this time round, neither is Samurai on Adam. And Finn still holding on to Eggy. It looks like his braking for this race is what's been this issue, because he keeps messing it up. Bluey with a time pen, but Finn still within a second of Square Giraffe, but he knows now these two are fighting for position for 5th and 6th, the Ferrari and the Alpine. So Eggy, all he has to do is not get a time penalty. Bluey retires in the pit lane now to bring the total to 3 DNFs. And yeah, it's a shame for the other Ferrari of Dello. He just for some reason couldn't join. I did send as many invites as I could, and it would have been interesting to see where he could have fit into all this, because he qualified 5th and finished 5th last week. He's getting ever closer to that maybe potential maiden podium, but he's going to have to wait. And look at that. Now it's a 4-car fight, because Adam has left Samurai. And could Adam potentially get a 3-second gap over Samurai? Because you can see he's taking a lot of time out of Kobe now. And Samurai under pressure from Square Giraffe, and he's going to be vulnerable. These two with the same amount of battery. Frosty's left, but he's retired, so that doesn't matter. But both of them know they have a driver on quick mediums behind them. Eggy right behind Finn, though. And now they're both going to be blasting their battery to try and hang on to their own position. Samurai knows he doesn't need to take too much risk, as he doesn't have a 3-second time penalty. But on the other hand, he needs to stay within 3 seconds of Adam, and we know how quick Adam can be at the end of a race. Last week's a perfect example. As there goes Square Giraffe, it's no competition with the DRS, and Square Giraffe on his debut is up into P3 with that 3-second time penalty, but he's still driven tremendously at the moment. So Samurai now drops down to 4th. Remember, he pitted first out of all these guys, and Finn all over the back of the Williams. And that is so close to contact. Yannick back in front of Christian now. They're fighting for P10 on track. And Birdie and Abra are fighting for P12. Actually for P12 at the moment, which will turn into P11 when Christian's pens get applied. Square Giraffe nearly back within a second of Adam there, who's saved his battery up. And same with Kobe. By the way, any fuel issues? I can't... No. Everyone's fine. This isn't really one of those tracks where that's an issue anyway. Samurai has lost a second to Square Giraffe now. So it looks like Samurai is probably going to lose 3 seconds to Adam. Will he lose 3 seconds to Giraffe as well? This will be big gains for Kobe and Adam. 3rd and 4th in the championship. Trying to gain on 1st and 2nd. Samurai under pressure from Finn to the inside. Samurai leaves the room, and Finn will have to try a switchback. Eggy watching this unfold, and Finn switchbacks Samurai to get alongside him, and now they're going to go wheel to wheel with 4 laps to go, and Finn looks like he's ahead of the Williams. Goes a little deep, and he might come under pressure from Samurai. Look at the battery difference between the two. As they pass the detection, Samurai will get the DRS, and it looks like he might be able to get back in front now, as he's got his championship rival right behind him. But this should be a pretty easy move, as Samurai blasts past Finn, and it looks like Finn's mediums might also be starting to wear out, and Eggy stays behind for now. I think it was the last lap of last season or the season before where we saw Eggy make that incredible double or triple overtake heading into Les Combes. Well, again, Finn nearly takes Samurai out at this very same place last lap compared to this one, and Will has been doing a tremendous job to hold on to P7 ahead of Chubster, who was with these guys, but stayed out 1 or 2 laps too late because Eggy was pitting too. And Will hanging his own in P7, and they are still holding the gap over Grush to actually get these positions, so that's great. But we'll see how that goes on by the end. Samurai 2.1 seconds now. Could Square Giraffe, in his debut, get the podium? It's going to be close. Countless times in Tier 2, we've always gone into the last lap looking at those 3-second gaps between those who do, those who don't, those who just have less. And at the moment, it's building up. But with it being the longest track on the calendar, by this time next lap, that 2.5 seconds could be well over 3, as these two are probably going to battle again. And Eggy is all there for it. And this is really inviting Adam, who's been a bit of a dark horse throughout this season, missing some races. He has finished either first or second in every single race he has done this season. And he's third in the championship at the moment, but he's gaining crucial points on Samurai and Eggy. And Samurai this time with a full battery will try his best, but Finn's all over the back of him, already alongside, and now he's going to have DRS, and this should surely put Finn ahead of the Williams. You can see the Alpine flying ahead of him now. Eggy's just within DRS of them, but now Finn is up into P4. And if he has the pace still, maybe he can get 3 seconds over Samurai. And Eggy's also going to be wary of those ahead with 3 set pens. Can he get within the time he needs? First and second in the championship, 6th and 5th at the moment. Matt gets a pen at the back of the field. 3.2 now. Adam really never gives up. But I'm pretty sure, unlike last week, it's going to be a bit, well, way more tricky to win this race. And look at that. Square Giraffe has the pace to keep the gap with Adam. This is brilliant stuff from these recent debutants. It's great to see some new names up here. And we'll be seeing them hopefully for a while. That's Eggy off into the gravel there as he's trying to push to stay within second of Samurai. And could these two even battle? It's 6 points between them at the moment. It would go down to 4, but can Eggy try and get it up to 8 points? We're going to see. He's been behind him the entire race. Well, he was ahead on lap 1 and then Samurai overtook him. So will Eggy right at the end get him back? And yeah, it's 1 lap later, and Samurai is pretty much nearly 3 seconds behind Square Giraffe. So he's going to have to kind of accept that Finn has to tow him along. If Samurai fights Finn, then he's going to lose this shot at the podium. And as for Finn, he's quicker than Adam, who's quicker than Kobe at the moment. And Eggy may have just got DRS. It's going to be close, though, whether it comes up. He didn't get it. Okay. Well, this might allow Samurai to overtake Finn without the need of squabbling. And he does. Which is fair enough. That's put him well back within 3 seconds of Square Giraffe. He's doing it smartly. As he has been brilliant at battery management, to be fair to him this race. 1 second on the dot. Now under a second for Square Giraffe. Remember, these two are fighting for the podium for P2. They both have the same amount of penalties, so can Square Giraffe on debut even go one higher for P2, which would be absolutely brilliant. As speaking of which, a brilliant battle turns sour. As for the second race, for the second time this race, Birdie has gone off at the exact same place and has once again destroyed his wing as he fought away with Christian there, who not for the first time this season has been involved in an incident. And that's going to put Birdie back down, unfortunately, even lower in the points. We don't have any time for a safety car. I'm pretty sure with 3 laps to go, there isn't even VSCs that are a thing. So we've actually gone through a 19-man Belgian Grand Prix without any VSCs or safety cars, which is crazy. Bit deep into the last chicane for Kobe, but it's not going to matter one dot. He's going to start his final lap of the Belgian Grand Prix. And now Adam is under big pressure from Square Giraffe, who's been gaining on the Haas, 38% to his 38%, and Square Giraffe is going to have to give it absolutely everything. It's going to be maybe a P4 at the moment, but can he overtake Adam for a potential podium on debut? He's blasting and he's gaining, but it's going to need to be a lot more than that if he wants to overtake Adam. He's on 0% to be fair to him. And here comes Square Giraffe on the final lap of his debut. He's gaining in the slipstream of Adam, but he stays behind for now. Goes onto the grass a little bit as well, which makes him go deep. And he has to stay behind for now. As, look at that, 2.7 seconds. Now 5. Now 3. as he's having to stay behind Adam there. So Samurai might just hang on as Eggy's lost so much time, and this might really help Samurai finish third, while Eggy might finish sixth. So with Samurai with 15 and Eggy with 8, Samurai was 6 points behind Eggy, and he's going to be gaining 7 at the moment, which means by 1 point, Samurai was going to get the podium, but now he's on the last lap, has got a 3-second time penalty, and Square Giraffe on debut is going to get the podium he was probably didn't even think was possible today. He had no idea where his pace was going to put him, and this has been a brilliant race from him. We got yellows at the back with Christian and Ocean Blade, but up in front, Kobe is going through Blanchimont for the final time. He's going to miss the next 2 weeks. Knew he had to win today to be still in the fight, and he has proven just that through the bus stop for one final time and exiting the last corner. Kobe is going to win the Belgian Grand Prix in absolute tremendous style. Adam finishes second. Square Giraffe on debut is on the podium. Samurai fourth. Finn is fifth, but Eggy managed to get within 3 seconds at the end and beat Finn. So Samurai only gains 2 points on Eggy, and Will just held off for P7. Brilliant race from him ahead of Jobster, who actually loses his place as Grush managed to claim P8 and be within 3 seconds at the end there. Yannick comes home for the final points paying position. Great race from him. Ocean Blade, after an early stop on the softs, will be 11th, Christian 12th, but Abra will beat them both because they had a lot of penalties. Warren the same in P14, and Birdie will take 14th away, and Warren will be 15th, and M. Leons will be P16, quite a way behind. Kobe has won the Belgian Grand Prix. Adam keeps up his 100% record of finishing in the top 2 when he finishes a race this season. And Square Giraffe, welcome to the podium in your debut. Finn did it last week for P2, and Square Giraffe reserving has done it today because Samurai got a 3-second time penalty on the last lap, which would have seen him P3, as you can see, by 2.5 seconds. I don't know if we'll get 3-second pens removed for any of those guys in the top whatever, but at the moment, that's the result. Eggy, P5 in the end, loses 2 points to Samurai, so 6 points goes down to 4. And, well, as for the rest, Adam was 14 points behind Eggy. He's finished second, so 8-2. Right, so from what I assume, Eggy will be 4 points ahead of Samurai, who will be 2 points ahead of Adam. So 6 points will cover the top 3. And with Kobe's win, wow, 23, gained 15, 8. Oh my god. I think the top 4 are going to be covered by 8 points. That's incredible. As with Evan retiring once again today, doing a bit of a Chaz in the same car. Looks like he might slowly be out of this championship now, and it will be a 4-man fight. But those 4 drivers, I think at the moment, will be within 8 points of one another. And it is a shame that Kobe's missing the next 2. But yeah, game on. Wow, that was a great race. So Kobe, Square Giraffe, and Adam. Hope you all enjoyed that race. Next week will be Netherlands as well. Whoops. Actually, yeah, kick him. Why not? And Kobe. Right. Right. Well, we'll await for the top 3 to join the party for interviews. Right, we have Kobe joining the party, and now Adam. Still waiting for Square Giraffe to join. Maybe he doesn't know we do interviews. Quickly message him real quick. Square Giraffe. There we go. Don't need to message him. Right. Quickly do that. Right. We have the top 3 in the party. And if I quickly go to showroom. Right, we will start off with Square Giraffe. Scott, are you there, mate? Have you included your audio? I can hear you, but in the pie, have you included your audio?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, great. What a debut for you, mate. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Reserving in that Ferrari. You qualified, I think it was 7th. Am I correct? Yeah. And to finish 3rd in the end, that is a fantastic result for your first ever race. You went into today saying, just before we went in, you have no idea where your pace was, and I predicted you'd probably be in the top 10. Wow, top 3. How are you feeling after that race?
I was a bit disappointed with qualifying because if I was like half a tenth quicker, I could have got like P4 on the grid. But I think it was a good recovery. It was a bit hectic at the start, but I was gutted to get the pen, to be honest. Like the track limits penalty, because I didn't have the pace for the win. But it was a really good race.
Yeah, to be fair, you were gaining on Adam, who was gaining on Kobe. So I'm pretty sure in those last few laps, you were the quickest person on track, which is brilliant to see.
Yeah.
Did you notice on the last lap Samurai get his 3-second pen?
Yeah, I didn't actually see that. I saw that as I crossed the line. I thought I was going to get P4.
Wow.
Nice little surprise.
So yeah, you fought your way through the field. I think you were up to 5th. There was obviously Birdie Saints lost it on the opening lap, which promoted you a place. You were fighting away with Adam, so you were 5th, and then you had both Mercedes and both Williams ahead. You were trying for so long to get ahead of Chubster in the first stint.
My God.
Every time it came very close, and then you obviously pitted before him, and he lost a lot of ground being stuck behind Will. So you came out the pit lane. You lost a bit of time to the leaders, and then again your brilliant pace managed to close you back up to those guys with Samurai and whatnot.
I think the setup I chose is better for the race.
All right.
It's like 0-0 wings pretty much.
Wow.
So it wasn't great for quali, but it's just good for the straight.
Fair enough. And then yeah, Adam obviously had a 3-second as well. You were closing up to him. The gap was kind of staying around 1.21, and then on the last lap you had one little go. Do you think if there was one more lap you would have got him?
Nah, probably not.
Fair enough. But
He had better battery management.
did he? He was on 0 whenever I looked at him.
Well, it sort of felt like I was just blasting it through the middle sector, then I had nothing.
Right. Because I'm not gonna lie, Adam was one of those who had the least amount on the straights. Because on the last lap when he was on 0, you were on 6. So it was
What?
yeah. When you were gaining, he had nothing.
But it's too hard to overtake.
Yeah,
25.
slipstream, and it's just nothing really. But either way, you should be very happy with that result on debut. A podium is absolutely brilliant. And next week is Netherlands, the Dutch Grand Prix. How are you feeling about that one?
Well, in my other league, I won for the first time around Zandvoort. So it's probably my best track. I'm quite rapid around there. So,
Ooh, interesting.
Hopefully something will happen.
Okay, very nice. I'll try and look into giving you a full-time seat because you definitely deserve it.
Pace.
Exactly. So I'll look at that over the next week. But yeah, very well done today. And yeah, on to Zandvoort for you. So on to P2 for this Grand Prix. Adam, are you there, mate? Have you included your audio? So once again, you keep up your 100% record of finishing in the top 2 whenever you finish a race this season. You qualified, I think it was 5th or 6th. Can you remember?
6, I think it was.
6. And a bit unlike a lot of races this season, where in the first 5 or so laps, where you carved your way through and got up to 2nd or 1st, you kind of just stayed where you were for the first stint. I'm guessing it was just really difficult to, like Scott said, to make any inroads on passes.
Yeah. I was just trying to save my battery through pretty much the whole of the middle sector. But to try and like make a move up into whatever Lacombe. I was trying to close up, just didn't have the battery to make any moves, really.
That's fair. You also seem to struggle with turn one. You kept hitting the inside wall quite a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that lost you maybe a run or so on Samurai, but eventually you fight after quite a few laps of tussling with him. Finally got ahead. What was your thoughts on the fight with him?
Good fight, to be honest. I, I know I was watching I was watching your stream, so like I know that he had pretty much 100% battery a lot of the time. So that lap, I ended up making the move on him. I tried to make sure I saved as much battery as I could, and into the com, I think I burned about 60% battery just to
Wow.
try and get in front and stay in front.
Fair enough. And yeah, you finally managed to get ahead of him, doing what you've been doing best this season, where you're making your way up through the field from around 6 or even after some opening laps last. So you managed to get up into second, and then you obviously had this guy behind you on the last lap, and I'm guessing you were just hoping and praying you wouldn't get close enough so you could hold on to P2.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. You were closing in on Kobe, but a bit unlike last week where you closed up to Finn and then got the gap. I'm guessing you kind of knew a bit this was going to be way more difficult, considering he didn't have a pen and you did.
Yeah. I don't think I was really catching enough to catch him anyway. But
Yeah. The gap went from like 5 point something to 2 point something in the end. Not sure if Kobe was just looking after his tyres or you were just pushing a lot. Either way, still a brilliant result. And yeah, that really brings you really close to the top. So if my math is correct, I'm pretty sure Eggy leads from Samurai, from you, from Kobe as the top. It's the same top four. No swaps or anything, but all four of you are now only covered by 8 points. So Eggy is 4 ahead of Samurai, who's I think 2 ahead of you, and you're 2 ahead of Kobe. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is. Unfortunately, like I said, Kobe's missing the next 2 races, but I called you a bit of a dark horse this season because you've been making your way up through the standings, and now you're 1 win away essentially from taking the lead of the championship. 8 races to go and 8 points separate the 4 of you. I'm pretty sure it's going to go from a 5-way fight to a 4-way fight, as it looks like Evans slowly dropping out of it. But still, well done today. And yeah, what are your thoughts on the Dutch Grand Prix, Netherlands next week?
I don't really feel like it's one of my best tracks, but to be honest, I thought today was going to be one of my better tracks. And struggled a bit more than what I thought I would, really.
That's fair. You never know. It is obviously Tier 2 after all. I think the biggest surprise that race, there was no safety cars or VSCs or anything, to be honest, with a 19-man race. Bit annoyed not to get the full grid, so 19 for 2 weeks in a row, but maybe next week we'll get it. But yeah, anyway, well done today. Once again, another podium, and you're racking up the points brilliantly. So, on to our race winner. Was it ever in doubt? Kobe, are you there, mate?
Yeah, I'm here.
Have you included your audio?
I think so. Yeah.
Kobe, you have won once again in EXFL Tier 2, the Belgian Grand Prix, and that must have been one of your sweetest victories.
Yeah, it was.
Pole to win. Did you lead every... No, Finn led a few laps. Who got the fastest lap at the end? Was it some back marker, I think? Probably.
No, I think it was... I don't know who it was, but it was way quicker than everybody else.
Either way, a fantastic result. I've been saying quite a few times today, and I told you last week, you needed to win today because you're missing the next few weeks, and you gave it absolutely everything. How was your take on qualifying and race for you?
It wasn't too... Well, it wasn't bad at all. I felt like my body pace was good, and obviously my race pace was good until the end, but I was just trying to stick it out towards the end, not do anything too stupid.
Yeah. How many warnings were you on out of curiosity?
1.
1, fair. Because obviously Adam and Scott got theirs. Adam and Scott, did you get 3 overall, or did you get 4 or 5?
I think I had 4.
3 and 4, okay, fair. So yeah, I mean, even if you had a 3 sec, even if you got it really early on, it looked pretty good from the get-go. Samurai, on the early stages looked really quick. He got it from 1.7 or 1.3 down to 1 second at one point, but then he would just never blast his battery, and you would. I don't know if there was some. I'm guessing there was no team game going on there, but he
No,
just never decided to get close.
I was wondering why he wasn't burning because obviously he was allowing Ad to like break the ERS and catch him up a bit more. Because he was catching
Yeah.
up to me using no ERS at all.
Hmm.
So he
I
had
know.
the pace.
What were your wings, out of curiosity?
0-0.
So, yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Seems like a lot of people either went with, like, no, I don't think anyone's wings were higher than like 10 combined. But yeah, you just did everything you possibly needed to. You led away, held off any threat from Eggy on the opening lap, and then obviously Samurai overtook him, and then you were just never really in threat from there. You went lights to flag, just perfect race. Did you ever think Finn on the alternative strategy might be a one to worry about, or?
When I saw him putting in the lap times that were like 3 seconds quicker than me, I thought, this might get close, but I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just really difficult to overtake around here with the low downforce. So he did get caught up a little bit, and I think his tyres in the last 2-3 laps did fall off. But either way, an absolute brilliant race from you. Another victory. We hope to see you back in, I guess, 3 weeks' time then for Singapore, as you'll be missing Netherlands and Baku, which is unfortunate. But whatever Adam, Samurai, and Eggy score in the next 2 races, you're going to have to try your best in the last 6 to overcome that and get back into it. But yeah, you've been absolutely brilliant, and today, and well done.
Thank you very much.
So that has been our podium. Kobe is the winner, Adam P2 and Scott P3 on debut. Fantastic race. Tier 1 will be tomorrow at Spa as well, and we will see you all at the Dutch Grand Prix in 1 week's time.